4 minutes past 8. This is Conversations on Energy FM on 02.1 and Choice FM on 1.1. Many are often advised to, quote unquote, let go of those who are already gone. But how easy is that? Motivational books author and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo joins me in studio now to discuss toxic relationships on our Motivation Monday. You are more than welcome to join us in the conversation with your questions and comments. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212. 079-295-1212, and you can also send us an SMS to 47861. That's 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50, and you can also give us a call.
Have your say. Call us now on 015-151-1058.
Ebenezer Mamabolo, good evening and welcome.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
Are you well?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. The previous conversation basically did lay the foundation quite well, right? For what we're about to discuss now, because I would imagine from having heard what the attorney was saying, one is starting to really build up a checklist to say, what is it about my relationship that's not very normal?
Yes.
But perhaps to just help one get to that answer quite quickly, what kind is a toxic relationship?
You know, toxic relationships are those ones that instead of bringing you joy, they bring you pain. And I define toxic relationship in 3 categories. There is a toxic relationship that you have with yourself. There is a toxic relationship that you have with others. And there is a toxic relationship that you have for others. In other words, I'm reminded of what I've been seeing lately on social media, whereby instead of seeing women lift each other up, they are starting to shame each other. They are becoming self-destructive to one another. And another example would be when you are when you are living your life and you are pursuing your own dreams, and instead of you being your own motivation when you are not having other people as motivation, you find that you are the one who's self-destructive to your own purpose, towards your own dreams. Now those kinds of relationships, those are the ones that are toxic to us and they cause us pain.
Usually before one can work towards healing, they have to have gotten a diagnosis.
Yes.
To clearly understand where it comes from, to then be able to work with it entirely.
Yes.
Let's just start with being toxic to yourself. How do you, for starters, really establish to say you could be toxic to yourself?
You know, when you see that you cannot live by yourself, all by yourself. You know, there are some people who, when they are alone, when they have got time by themselves to think about life or to think about the issues that they have, they are afraid of spending that time alone. You might find that, someone is at work and you would think that maybe because there is no work that they are doing, they would have some time to reflect on their life, to reflect on the duties that they have. But instead of them taking that time to reflect on what's happening in their life or what's happening at work, you might find that they are looking for something to distract them. Now, if you find that you can't be by yourself, alone by your thoughts, with yourself now, and you are always looking for something that would distract you, that's a red flag to say that no, there are some issues in your life that you've got that you are not dealing with. If you find that you are even dependent on others, if you find that instead of you depending on yourself, needing yourself, you find that say for example, it's me, I realize that I can't live without Rebecca. I always need Rebecca by my side. I always need Rebecca to do this and that for me. If she's not here or if she's not doing this for me, I feel unworthy or I feel useless. When you start feeling like that way, when you find that you are too dependent on other people and their company, that's a red flag to tell you that no, it seems like you've got some issues that you need to deal with by yourself.
You know, this is tricky, Ebenezer, because oftentimes people are told that you need to always keep busy. If you've encountered something that's quite troublesome, keep yourself busy. Don't nurse a situation that was not very ideal that happened to you. Don't nurse a state of sadness and so forth. It becomes quite then challenging to say, when one is told to really bury all that's happened in the past and to keep busy and focus on the present and the future, because time waits for no man. How does one clearly do that? Transition from having encountered a situation that wasn't very ideal, acknowledging that it happened and moving on to, keep him busy and looking forward to the future without necessarily now seeming to forget and really just, disregard all that's happened. Because I would imagine the reason why one would always need a distraction is because they don't want to really face the current moment, particularly when they're just by themselves.
the first thing that we need to do when we find ourselves in this situation, don't just ignore the pain that you felt or the circumstances that you find yourself in that bring you that pain. No. You don't ignore the pain that you are feeling or try to look for things that would distract you. First, deal with whatever pain it is that you have in your life. Face those fears that you have, or if maybe for the lack of a better word, face those demons that are troubling you now. After facing those demons, it's only after you face them, because now if you are going to look for things to distract you, what's going to happen when you no longer have something that's there to distract you? Say, for example, maybe you might say, no, instead of me facing my pain or instead of me facing my horrors, I am going, maybe say, for example, you're going to turn to alcohol or drugs. What happens when you are sober? Will you now then say that, no, I need more drugs? No. The first step for you to find healing and for you to deal with whatever it is that you are feeling, acknowledge the presence of that particular thing. Acknowledge the fact that, no, I am feeling pain in my life. This particular person has caused me pain in my life. Now, when you acknowledge that, the next step is, what can I do to make this pain not as toxic or as destructive as it is? Now, the first thing, what is it that I'm learning from this pain? What am I learning about myself? Is this pain that I'm feeling teaching me something about myself that I never had the chance to learn? Last time we spoke about the fact that we as people, we either change because of two things. I am either inspired to change or I am forced by pain to change. Now, when you look at the situation that you are in, to say that, no, okay, what am I learning from this experience? Is this something that I can learn from and improve my life on? Is this something that I can learn from and never do again? Now, when you've learned and you've done all those things, then you can say that, no, because I know that this pain of mine sometimes needs me to do something that would get me, maybe you find that these are triggers for you. When you are continually thinking about it, you find that it's always depressing you, and you say, for example, then you'll go and reach out for a friend. Now, in those instances where you've done all that you could, then that's when you can say, let me look for something that would become a replacement to those negative emotions that I'm feeling. When I am alone, when I've done the work that I needed to do, but when I'm thinking or when I see other people, it becomes a trigger. Then you can do something to help you, because sometimes you can't just erase a memory or try to forget about the memory. What you need to do is that when you've got a painful or a negative memory, you need to come up or you need to do something that will give you a new and a better memory. And that new and better memory will be the one to replace that other one. So don't just say, I'm avoiding my pain, or I'm going to pretend like this pain that I'm feeling is not there.
We'll go back to the issue of diagnosis, right? And particularly look at relationships, because I think by now one should have some sense of what they should do internally to really work on the relationship that they have with themselves and if it's toxic or not. Mm-hmm. Help us establish, how does one really know and understand to say the role of each relationship that you have? If you have a friend, if you have an acquaintance, if you have a colleague, if you have a lover, if you have a spouse and so forth, what is the purpose of a relationship in the different manners in which they present? How does one establish that?
I've learned that the different kinds of people that we have in our life, they are there for a purpose. And the different types of purposes that each and every one who comes into our life serves, it's different. Say, for example, we've got three categories. There are people who come to our lives who are there to teach us something. They might be teaching us something about ourselves. They might be teaching us something about maybe an industry that we are in, if they are a colleague of ours. They might even be teaching us about the craft that we are in that particular industry. Another one, there are those who come into our lives to inspire us. They inspire us to be someone. They inspire us to even be something. Those are the kinds of relationships that we also need. The last one would be the type of relationship that makes us better or even better. Sometimes when people come into our lives, instead of them making us better, instead of them helping us pursue and fulfill our dreams and desires, they come to serve as thorns. They are the ones who, after we've had an encounter with them, we are left hurt, we are left in pain. But that pain, it's not just there meaninglessly so. It's there to teach us something. Each and everyone, irrespective of what kind of relationship we are there with them, they are there to teach us something.
I find interest in the ways in which people use the option of status on WhatsApp. Because it seems that's where a lot of people vent. If you and I had a tiff, you go to your status and you say, I hate it when people do this, with the hope that I will see it and I'll act better towards you.
Yes.
And if that does not happen, then you will revolt, or you'll resort to then now distancing yourself, and over time, bad mouthing me and basically losing touch and, belief in relationships, particularly of that nature, which at this point could be a friendship. When one chooses to do that, when one chooses to say, my diagnosis is that this person is not very good for me, when they speak to me, they don't really have nice words to say to me, and I'm choosing to in fact pull back. Is that always a good strategy?
That's definitely a good strategy, because sometimes you find that I had the conversation with Rebecca, and I spoke with her and told her that, no, Rebecca, when you do this and that, you are crushing me, you are crushing my dreams, you are making me feel unworthy of me being me. Now, when you see that when you're having that conversation with that particular person, it's not working for you, then it's good for you to distance yourself from that particular person. Because now it's not going to serve you if maybe every time you see Ebenezer, now you've got this rage inside of you. Or when you see Ebenezer, these negative feelings come towards you. Sometimes when you find that, no, you've reached out to the particular person to reach out to them, say that, no, this is what's happening when you and I are having this and that doesn't work, then it's good for you to distance yourself away from that particular person. And when you are doing that, it's healthy for you, because you even get some time to get those negative emotions that are triggered by my presence in your life.
We're talking about toxic relationships with Ebenezer Mamabolo. He's an author of motivational books and life coach. And you can join us in the conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212. 079-295-1212, and you can also send us an SMS to 47861. That's 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. You can also give us a call.
Have your say. Call us now on 015-151-1058.
We continue with this Motivation Monday discussion after the break.
Conversations, Mondays to Thursdays, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Have your say. Call us now on 015-151-1058.
The time is 18 minutes past 8. This is Conversations on Energy FM 102.1 and Choice FM 101.1. On Motivation Monday tonight, I'm in conversation with author of motivational books and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo, as we're talking about toxic relationships. You can join in the conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, 079-295-1212, or you can send us an SMS to 47861. That's 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. Maybe, just maybe, there's people who actually could say, Ebenezer, I really know that my friendship with this person or my romantic relationship with this person is toxic, but I'm choosing to actively choose my pain.
Okay.
Because I've been with this person for this long of a time. This person knows my secret. We've been through ups and downs. I don't know if I'm ready to start afresh with all the years and months that have been invested into this relationship. Talk to us about what a toxic relationship actually does to a person.
I've learned that, sometimes in our lives, when we've gotten comfortable with pain and misery, we tend to be addicted to it. And sometimes you might find that because you are in a toxic relationship and you've invested, like you said, you've invested the time, the energy, the resources, whether it's emotionally, physically, or psychologically, you find that you are addicted to that particular situation. And there are some things that I would like us to look into. The first thing, a toxic relationship makes us feel insecure. They make us feel insecure about our dreams. You find that I am not even sure. I no longer even have the surety that the dreams that I have are even my own, because now I've given up my dreams for my partner, or I've given up my dreams for my friend, or I've given up my dreams for my parent. Another thing they do to us is that they make us feel insecure about our desires. Now you find that I no longer dream of having that car that I wanted to have. I no longer dream of getting those academic qualifications that I wanted to have, because now I feel that if I am pursuing this high academic achievement and you have not achieved this level of high academic achievement, you might feel that no, I'm not worth, or you no longer want to be my friend or my partner. Another one would be Toxic relationship makes us feel insecure even about our purposes. When you know or you've got a clear vision of what your life is about, what you should be doing about your life, what is the dream that you should be pursuing about your life. Now, when you find yourself in a toxic relationship, you are no longer even sure, because the person that you are with, or the person who's your friend, or who's your partner, or who's your colleague, they make you even feel insecure about even your future and your purpose. Another one would be even your health. When we find ourselves in toxic relationship, when we start to see notices in our health, to see our health deteriorating because we are constantly in negative moods, or we are in depressions, or you even get to a point where now, instead of me facing whatever it is that I'm facing, I even turn to food to try to minimize the stress, or I use food as a stress. You find that no, this is not working for me. So make sure that you also check that one. Another one would be a toxic relationship makes you even feel insecure about your abilities. You start doubting yourself. You start doubting your capabilities. You start even doubting, am I really capable of achieving this and that with my life? Am I really capable of achieving this in my future or here at work? Another one, you get to a point where you feel unworthy. I'm not worthy to be here. I don't deserve to be here. Those are the negative emotions that you might be feeling. And another thing that a toxic relationship does, it destroys your hope. It destroys your hope of what? A hope for a better future. You get to a point where, because you felt so unworthy, you felt so worthless for so long, you even feel that no, I don't even deserve a better future. It seems like my future without this person is going nowhere, or I don't have a future with this particular person. Another one would be where you even lose hope for a better life. You don't even see yourself more than a relationship where you are physically abused all the time. You don't even see yourself in a relationship with someone who loves you unconditionally, who supports you emotionally, who supports you psychologically, or who even supports you spiritually. Another one, you get to a point where you've even lost hope for a better career. You find that no, I'm pursuing my career, I'm pursuing my own dreams, but when I try to reach another level in my career, this particular person who's my friend, or who's my spouse, or who's my colleague is constantly pulling me down. And when you are trying to go up, when someone is challenging you, or you're finding challenges at work, now when you want to go further, now because you've got this toxic relationship, it's always pulling you down. You even lack the hope to even believe in a better future for yourself.
Tate Ronyama from Bendo says to Mr. Mamabolo, it's easier said than done. Honestly, learning to take things less personally does take time and comes from a fundamental self-confidence that a person might need to build. Some people are quite sensitive and get triggered easily, especially if the toxicity comes from someone who means a lot to them. So I think it would be unfair to expect them to just be okay within a blink of an eye. It takes time. We all deal with toxicity or pain differently.
Yes, definitely. You can't just say in the blink of an eye with someone you've built a relationship for a long time and say that, no, I no longer need you, or I'm going to forget about you. It's a process. Like we spoke about last time, we said that it's a process. It's a process that you go through. Yes, today, when you are trying to confront that particular friend of yours or that colleague of yours, it might be hard at first sight. But when you are consistently working on it, over time, you'll get so comfortable to even have those hard conversations with that particular friend. And I'm reminded of a friend of mine who I loved very much. I supported my friend with everything that she did and whatever dreams that she had. But it got to a point where now it seemed like everything about me and my life was wrong. When I tried to encourage her, she would look for the worst things that I would be saying in my encouragement. When I tried to push her to pursue dreams or to see her life better than the way she might be seeing at it, maybe in a limited way, she would always see the worst out of things. And when I looked at it and I said, you know what, you and I, we've been friends for so long, but it seems like the friendship that we've had, it has had its purpose. Now it's time for you and I to depart. And yes, that ending of that particular friendship wasn't as easy as it seems, because it took time. It took time because this is someone you've told your secrets to. This is someone you've spent most of your time with. When you were crying or when you had emotional moments in your life, you spent your time and you shared with them and you were vulnerable with them. So yes, at times it's not easy, but it's a process, and it gets better with practice and practice.
Right. How does one really guard against turning selfish as a person whilst they believe to be moving from toxicity? How do you say this is toxic? I'm moving from this much not needed toxicity, but you don't necessarily want to turn into being this selfish person. With the example that you've just given now, this friend who you've been there for this person for the longest time and you feel like there was no reciprocity in terms of the exchange, right? How do you really move from this friendship with the understanding that it didn't go as you would have loved for it to go, but you leave with a clear heart?
I would say give your best to that particular friendship or relationship. Sometimes when we are feeling that we feel maybe a sense of guilt or a sense of shame in maybe ending a particular relationship, is that we ourselves know that we did not give our best. Now, do your very best. If it's your friend, do your very best to amend whatever bridges might have been broken. If maybe it's your partner, make sure that whatever it is that's happening, you are giving your very best to try to resolve whatever issues that you might have. Or even if it's not issues, but give your very best in the relationship, so that by the time the relationship ends or the friendship ends or the particular arrangement ends, you know that I have given my very best. I have done whatever it is that was within my capability. I did what I was supposed to do. I reached out to this person. I even tried this method and that method. Now, when you see that what you've done, your very best was not enough for that particular case or for that particular relationship, then you can move on with a clean conscience, because now you know that I've done my very best. What more is there for me to do, because I've given my very best in this particular relationship?
When one feels immediately after having attempted to end a relationship that maybe it's worth one more try, and yet this relationship has proved to be toxic as per the context that you've given us, what would you advise they should do before they immediately run back into the hands of this friend, of this lover, of this family member, and so forth?
You know, one thing I've learned is that sometimes when we leave people or we no longer have associations with them, the pain of being alone by themselves gets them to their senses. But there are also other instances where them being alone might not even serve the purpose that it's supposed to serve. Now, when you find yourself in those cases, if you've done whatever it is that you feel that, no, I feel like I haven't given my friend the benefit of the doubt, let me give them one more chance. If you feel that if whatever happens, it won't hurt you or it won't cause you so much pain that you would find yourself that you are so hurt and you are worse off after you've done that, then reach out to that particular person or that particular friend of yours to say that, no, I feel that, no, I didn't like the way things ended between us. I think let's give this a try, or maybe let's give this a try considering 1, 2, 3, 5, because now if we don't consider this, we will go back to what happened. Say, for example, you're in a relationship, you talk to your partner and say, no, I feel that, no, we didn't end things well. Let's get back together, but considering that, no, this time around, you will consider maybe it's your feelings, you would consider my needs. Now, when you've got that arrangement, then you can have that second chance in the relationship with that agreed upon agreement.
Do we have a quote for the week?
Yes, we've got quote for the week. And this quote comes from one Eli, and he says, when you make a mistake, respond to yourself in a loving way rather than in a self-shaming way. Another one says, never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life, but define your life.
Share your contact details with us.
On all of the social medias, just search for Ebenezer Mamabolo, send me a friend request or follow me there at Ebenezer Mamabolo. And when you're booking me as a coach and as a speaker, contact me on 071-639-7807.
Tatero further says, I definitely agree with you, Mr. Mamabolo. There's nothing more fulfilling than leaving a toxic relationship or friendship knowing you were not the problem. And as soon as you leave, never look back. Just find alternative sources of peace and wholeness and move on. That's our time. Thank you so much for joining us in Conversations tonight.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. And that's our time on Conversations. Coming up next is Matumo Manaka with Night Flight. Thanks to the show's content producer, Mami Murashwa, our technical producer, Emmanuel Quinda, and to you for always listening and engaging with us. I am Rebecca Phala. Enjoy the rest of your evening and stay safe.